You know her from Lost, Once Upon a Time, and so much more. Elizabeth Mitchell is with us today.
So happy to hear your fabulous voice.
Oh my gosh, you're so sweet. I'm happy to hear your fabulous voice. All right, let me do the official welcome, Elizabeth, and then we're going to get into all the cool stuff you're doing, okay?
Oh, fun. Let's do it. Perfect.
All right. It is the KJ Today Show, your place for the positive vibes of pop culture, people to know, and pets. And our very special guest this morning is going to bring a lot of positive vibes. Elizabeth Mitchell, welcome to the show.
Oh my gosh, KJ, I'm so happy to be here. Thank you. Hello.
So I want to get right into, because we have some wonderful fan questions about your time on Lost and Once Upon a Time and all those things we know you for. But let's start with the mission that you are on, because this new movie it is more than a movie. It is a fight for kids. So tell me about Sound of Hope: The Story of Possum Trot.
Oh my gosh, it's such a beautiful movie, and it's based on a true story. So I think it's inspiring in only a way that can be, right? So it's about this little town in Texas, Possum Trot, and Reverend and Donna Martin inspire their community and themselves to adopt 77 of the hardest to please kids out of the foster care system. And they do it. They adopt these kids, they keep these kids, they come together as a community to support each other and make this work. And their whole thought is, if we can do this with what we have, imagine what the world could do if we all did the same thing. The foster care crisis would be over. So it is so inspiring and beautiful, and watching this community come together and you just do these hard things and take care of these vulnerable, incredible children. It's just such a beautiful story. It really is. I'm so inspired by it. Every time I talk about it, I get so excited for people to know more about it, because it happens. It's happening now.
And this takes place, the true story took place, well over a decade ago, right?
Yes, it did. Yeah, it took place in the 90s. And so what you have now is that you have the children of these children, these beautiful, loved kids going into the world and thriving. And it's, you can see something, you say, okay, well, this happened. Well, then how did the kids turn out? Well, the kids turned out incredibly. It's this beautiful, it's just this beautiful kind of circle of hope and joy and what can be done and what's possible. Not just because we think it can be done, but because they did it. So yeah, it's something. It really is. I'm so happy for people to see it. And I'm so excited it's been so well received. I looked on Rotten Tomatoes this morning and it was 100%. And I was like, oh my gosh, really?
Well,
so
I think, Elizabeth, people are seeking out the positive. I mean, we get inundated with the negative. There's plenty of that. The news and social media, and searching for a story that reminds us of the good in humanity, I think is something that we all need right now, and especially coming into July 4th, right?
Yes, you said it so beautifully. That's exactly how I feel. And I also think, there's that feeling of coming together. At the end of the premiere, when we were all in the audience together, I can promise you that we were all on exactly the same page, which is that we have to do something. These are our children. This is our world, and there is hope in that there is action. It's not just something to think about in the back of our minds and feel bad about. Like there's some true work that can be done here that was done, and they did it. So it's extraordinary, and it does fill up your heart for sure.
Can you talk a little bit about this tagline of the fight for children begins July 4th? It's not just a tagline. You and everyone who's involved with this movie really want to see people get inspired to help the children that need it the most right now. What are some of those actions that maybe people can take after they see this movie and they're inspired? What is the next step?
Well, I think that what a lot of people are saying is that, you know, you can do a lot of things. You can buy a ticket for another person to see this to inspire them. I think what this movie is saying is that we as together, a community, our country, we are so prosperous, right? We are an incredible group of humans. And if we all came together, the foster care crisis would be over. It just would. You know, we come together, we support, we give what we can, and we do what we can. And I think that what they've shown us here, the Martins and this incredible Possum Trot community has shown us that it's not just something that is in the back of our minds. This is something that is true, that can happen, that is beautiful, and we can do it now. You know, we can bring these children into our lives. We can support, you know, our local foster care systems. We can support these families so that they can have their children back. You know, that is one of the things that my character talks about, which is that so often these children are in a place where their families simply can't take care of them. And if we could just support these families, we could make a huge difference. So there are so many steps laid out for people in this movie that give us the tools that we need to save these children, to protect these children, to take care of the most vulnerable and innocent, among us. And I think that's something we all want. I truly do.
We are talking with Elizabeth Mitchell. The movie is Sound of Hope, the story of Possum Trot, and it is out on July 4th. I think one of the, beautiful things about having you as a part of this movie, Elizabeth, is that you have your own fan base who adores you and is inspired by you, and that goes all the way back to Lost and some of these shows, movies that have become just such a big part of pop culture. What does it mean to you in your career to have been a part of some of these amazing works and know that fans still love you for it?
Oh my gosh. Wow. You know what I think I've loved and what has been a part of my life is that I have friends wherever I go. I get hugs. You know, I'll go and talk to people and it doesn't matter who or where. I'll have someone be like, "Oh my gosh, it's you. Can I hug you?" And I'm like, "Yes, please come hug me." So I think that on a personal level, what it's meant to me is that I kind of seem to have friends everywhere and I walk through life with that feeling. You know, it doesn't really matter. I think entertainment does that. I think that we can, I think that part of things can heal people, can heal hearts, can, scrape off some rough edges, can really do some extraordinary things. So I think for me, it's such an honor to be able to do that. The way so many actors have done that for me, have made me say, "Oh yeah, that's it. That's what life is. I need to go and do that." The inspiration that is possible has always been and felt like such an honor and a gift to me.
Well, I do want to go to a couple of the fan questions this morning. I'm going to start off with the one that I was most excited about. Marty said, I've seen her post pictures with dogs and maybe even horses. So, can you ask her about her love of animals and has she ever worked with them on set?
Oh gosh, sometimes I have, a dog here and there. I do have a 10-acre farm, and I have a horse named Skippy who is 38 years old and has one eye.
Wow.
All of my dogs, and probably, 1,000 buddies who just happen to live on the property and do pretty well for themselves. So I do love animals and I love nature, and I have this really idyllic life where I'm surrounded by both and orchards of apple trees and peach trees. And so that is my current reality. And I do really love it. I think that there is something about it that touches our hearts, isn't it?
Well, and there's, if anyone who's had an experience or been able to have any kind of bond with a horse, there's something really
Yeah.
special about that. It's different, isn't it?
It's true. She's she's an extraordinary horse too. There's no fences. She's 38 years old. She's not going anywhere. She comes up to the house in the morning and stands underneath the window because she's ready for her apple. So it is kind of an amazing situation. And yes, they teach you to be more yourself, don't they? They kind of calm you. And if you've ever approached a horse when you're anxious, you can see that they don't love that so much. So I think that whole thing about being around them is about being grounded and kind of and being, I don't know, with yourself in your life. They teach you. They really are the most extraordinary teachers.
We've got a young fan who is listening. Her name is Madison. She is 11 years old, and she said the Santa Claus movies are something
Madison.
that, right? Isn't this great? She's like, I'm 11. I love the Santa Claus movies. I love her in them. Does she watch them over and over like I do?
Oh, yes. You know who loves them so much, Madison, is my mom. My mom will put them on every time she's feeling sad, and so we will sometimes watch them together. She says it's the only time that she feels like she gets to see the real me.
I love that. It's so nice to have your mom proud of you, right? Like that movie should watch over and over.
She's the best mom ever. But thank you, Madison. That makes my heart happy. I appreciate that.
And I want to make sure that people know, Sound of Hope, the story of Possum Trot is out on July 4th. So it's a wonderful way to be inspired. Elizabeth, what do you hope as people are watching it this weekend? What do you hope they take away from it the most?
Oh, I think it's what they say in the movie. There are children, and they were only ever meant to be loved. I think that's the truth of it. Go ahead and take some action and bring some love into your life, and know that this is a solvable problem and that there are children. So yes, thank you. Thanks, KJ.
Oh my gosh, it has been such a joy to talk with you, Elizabeth, and we would love to have you back anytime.
Oh, thank you. Oh my gosh, I love what you do. I love that you're getting out there and making people's hearts happy. That's the way to do it. Well done, you.
Oh, thank you. Same to you. Best of luck with everything this weekend. Have a wonderful 4th of July, and I look forward to the next time we cross paths.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks for joining me for another celebrity interview. KJ Today, where you'll find the positive vibes of pop culture, people to know, and pets. If you like this interview, please make sure you give it a like, rate, review, and subscribe. And join us on YouTube the first Wednesday of every month for the full KJ Today show, where we play trivia, bring you more celebrity guests, and even a pet of the week to keep you feeling the positive vibes.